Hello everyone. Tuesday, January 17, 2017, and as you can tell by the title, this is a grading video, but not a traditional grading video, more of a rant. I'm not going to tell you how to grade books or show you how to grade books. I'm going to discuss something that I found today while doing some research. Now, if any of you have been watching my videos for any amount of time, you have heard me say in the past that I research things for a long time before I decide to do something. Before I opened up Arkham Comics, I researched the comic book industry and business models here in Las Vegas for about 3 years leading up to my opening. What I wanted to do was find out what worked, what didn't work, get my finger on the pulse with collectors, what they liked, what they didn't like, and what they wish they had. And I put my business model as higher grade back issues, which was lacking in this town. And that's what I did, because my plan is to be here 10 years from now, just a year from now, 2 years from now. And I knew already going in that A, I wasn't going to compete with the bigger shops because I don't have the finances and deep pockets to do that yet. And I didn't have $750 a week to go with Diamond, which is their minimum weekly order that you have to put in. So back issue stuff. So how do you become a solid grader? I had the knowledge of the books already because I collected for many years. So I wanted to be a top grader. The best graders teach themselves, but in order to teach yourself, you need to get the information from people in the know. So whenever I'd go to San Diego or another area or conventions, I would speak to these, old school graders and say, hey, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable? Also, talking to collectors, talking to people in the business, getting my idea, finding what worked, and building off of that grading model. I have built a reputation of being probably one of the top graders here in Las Vegas. I take that very seriously, and I appreciate that. So I continue to educate myself with standards from other companies. I have a book. In this book are grading standards from, and don't excuse me while I look down, CBCS's grading standards, comicpriceguide.com grading standards, Nostromania grading standards, Mile High, and Metropolis. And the reason I use those is because they have detailed grading things that I like to look at. Now, I have said all along that grading is subjective. Everybody grades differently. All those companies I just mentioned all have different accepts and what they don't accept on books. So if you look at some of these things, CBCS says here in a 5.5 to 7, pages inside covers can be brownish but not brittle. There are some companies that say that can be higher than a 4.5. It depends on the individual grader. Again, subjective and individual. If you're buying a book and you're happy with the grade and you accept the grade, that's all that matters. So while I was doing some research, I found an article written by Mile High. I don't know how old this is. Finding a middle ground between Overstreet and CGC. So I thought, you know what, good title. Let me read it. Now, I had said years ago in my old CGC videos that grading comics is just a scam. It's a money maker. It's a money grab by this company. Because the people they got grading are no better than anybody else. They just work for a company where they put a slab on it and people suck up the lemonade and say, oh, it's great, because they say it's an 8. But again, if you're honest with yourself and look at CGC the last few years, their grading is terrible. Terrible. So I'm reading this article, and the article was a conversation between Mile High and Jeff Vaughn, who's the executive editor of the Overstreet Comic Book Grading Guide. And there was a rumor going around that Overstreet and CGC were working together to try to corner a market to assist CGC in kind of making more money, especially for the bigger dealers. And right here in black and white in this article, and I'll read it so I'm not looking at the camera, so excuse me, it says, Jeff confirmed, again, Jeff Vaughn, executive editor, Jeff confirmed everything that Mile High feared. The Overstreet team is in negotiations right now to find a middle ground on grading comics between the standards that Overstreet has represented for the past 30 years and those that CGC decided more fit their marketing needs. You don't need to say any more. There it is. That's from the Overstreet advisor. You have been putting books out, Overstreet, since 1970. You are the gold standard that the collector goes by. You. What do I care what CGC says? Guy opens up a company and grades comic books in the last 10 years, 8 years, and now you're getting information from them because now they know more than you do, and you've been putting this book out since 1970? No. You're doing that because it's a money grab. Look at the advertisements in the book. You want to be an Overstreet advisor? Be a big-time customer with CGC? Or know somebody at Overstreet, and you too can be an Overstreet advisor. Now, I'm not saying that the advisors they have in that book aren't any good, but they're all connected to somebody. Okay? Little inside market. The true prices should be based off of the average collector. You want to get a true price for a book? You really want to get a true price for a book? Look at eBay. Because those are the people buying the books. Those are the people buying the books. Not some guy sitting in an office who's got $1 million collection, who knows somebody from Overstreet, or who spends a bunch of money with CGC and gets higher graded books than anybody else. Because again, this is just a money maker. This is just CGC making money and basically laughing at you for buying their books. I don't buy graded books. I don't. I have a couple in the collection that I bought in collections. I've never once sent a book in to get graded. I don't need to. I know what the grades are. You want to know what your grade's grade out, what your book's grade at? Bring it to me. I'll do it for free. And then you can send it to CGC and that book will come back at that grade. You just have to educate yourself on grading. I take the time to do that. I don't need CGC or Overstreet telling me. Overstreet is becoming kind of, you don't need it. You really don't need it because you have eBay. And you can say what you want about eBay, but eBay is going to give you the actual price of the book, what it sells for, the active market price for the book, and not this. There's, books in here that they say are $10 that sell on eBay for $60 all day. So is it a $60 book or is it a $10 book? This is your basic guide. This is a guide. This is a starting point. eBay is your area to go. And I hate eBay. I really do. But you got to do what you got to do. Okay? You got to do what you got to do. You need to find graders who you trust, who will give you a fair price for the book. And a lot of you out there are understanding this. Okay? When I sat there and said that CGC cares about the dollar, they don't care about the industry. We are we're a third-party, non-biased company. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because all these people who advertise in here deal with CGC exclusively. So if I send 3 books in a month, and someone else sends 100 books in a month, who do you think is going to get the better grades? If I had a book that's going to grade, that I grade a 7, and Metropolis sends in the same book, their grade is going to be a grade and a half higher. They'll probably get the 8.5 on it. Okay, you don't believe me? Look at some of the history of the books, look at the pedigree of the books, and find out what it was before it was graded by CGC, and who sent it in to get graded. Okay, people sit there and say, oh, I sent a new book in, and it came back a 9.8. It should come back a 9.8 if it's a brand new book. Okay, you want to impress me? Give me a 9.8 in a book from the 60s, which you look at some of these books with the spine cracks and the rounded corners that CGC's grading real big because of the money, because they get a percentage of the vintage books. It says right there on their website, they're going to the cost of the book, of the grade, is going to be based on the grade that they give you. So you really think that Hulk 181, that is a 7.5, that they're going to charge me $200 to grade? Or they can charge me $400 a grade if they give me the 8.5. What do you think I'm going to get? I think I'm going to get the 8.5 because they want to make money. Grading is not going to last forever. Okay? The things they put them in. I can't even talk today. I'm so mad right now. What they put them in, the capsules. Ultimately, you got to get those changed out. They don't last forever. They crack, they break, they can be removed. It's a scam. It's a scam that people are making money on, and bravo for you for making money on it if that's what you want to do. I'm more old school. But I've been saying this for years, and people have been saying, no, it's not true. Overstreet just said it. They're dealing with CGC because they want something that's better for their marketing. That's a money grab. That's a money grab. CBCS knew that. It used to be just CGC that advertised in the Overstreet. But then, of course, CBCS comes in strong. And in order for Overstreet to keep them happy, they put them in the Overstreet. You can say whatever you want. You can argue the point and say, no, it's not true. Go ahead. Keep being blind to what's right there in black and white. Walk around your next convention. Go to your comic shop. Look closely at the books that are being graded very high and tell me those books deserve that high grade. I got a couple books in my shop right now that they say are 8s and 9s that I wouldn't give a 6. I wouldn't give it a 6. You want to get a good gauge on a grade? Look at the different grading standards from the different companies. Read them. Some accept this, some don't accept this. Right now, subscription increases, which would never be more than a VG, some of these grading, the updated grades now, are accepting subscription increases up in the 5, 5.5, 6 range if it's not a big if it's not a real bad crease. There you go. I said that a few years ago, and now it's starting to come to fruition. I just don't say things to say things. I research it. If I say it, I've researched it. So there it is. Again, more of a rant. Don't buy the CGC bullshit. Sorry for my language. It's crazy. I'll do a new comic book video tomorrow. Of course, the big book that's coming out tomorrow, if you can find it, grab a couple copies. It is Dollface from Dan Mendoza because it wasn't heavily ordered and it's very limited and it's selling out everywhere. So, again, this was kind of just a little rant. I don't know where it went, what direction it went, whether you liked it or not. I hope you did. But if you didn't, as always, nothing I can do for you. Have a great night.